everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. We're a little bit delayed here. As some of you know who've been hanging out in the chat, Spencer at our main hub had a power outage, and sometimes you just can't control the darkness. Adam, how you doing?
I'm all right. The power is on here. I've got election coverage on the TV. I don't know why I'm a junkie for elections. I just enjoy the coverage so much.
Well, you're half American. Do you get to vote?
No.
Are you American enough to vote? No?
I should be. I probably could, to tell you the truth.
You could have.
It's okay. They don't need my vote.
Wow, what a crazy day it's going to be in America tonight. This is a racing show, but it does affect us. Politics, border, lots of issues here that, we're not pulling for one side or the other, but man, who knows where we could end up in this whole thing. But craziness. I want to thank our guests for their patience tonight. Mike Bowman's going to join us, the 2023 Sprint Car Champ at Ohsweken Speedway, and talk about how his season went, what the next season ahead holds for him. We're also going to talk to Josh Stade, who came back from Nashville this weekend and kind of showed up unexpectedly and underpowered in some of the stuff down there. We'll talk about Josh and why he decided to make the trek to Nashville. We'll also bring Todd Lewis on, our resident NASCAR and IndyCar announcer, partner, all the stuff we do with them, to talk a little bit about the chaos that was NASCAR, Adam. Like, holy shit, if you're ever going to have a NASCAR week and a bit of chaos and some hanging chads and bullshit with NASCAR, what a week to do it on election week. It's craziness. So many different sides and opinions on how that should have went. We're excited to talk about that a little bit as well. Thoughts on that and the show coming up?
Thoughts on that. It's going to be a lot of fun, but let's make sure when we talk about it, we talk about gambling. Because the ramifications of what happened on Sunday with gambling could be mind-numbing.
All right. Let's bring on our first guest, Mike Bowman, who is standing by. We appreciate your patience. Mike, hopefully you didn't stay late at the office for us, because we'll feel extra guilty if you're there an extra half an hour. But thanks for your time tonight, man. How are things with you?
Doing well. You got my audio good?
We got you.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah. I am still at work, Clint. So you can.
Jeez. Well, we apologize for that.
It's all good.
Hey, Mike, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do you have a gaming headset at work?
For doing Zoom meetings, the audio and it's just better this way.
All right.
And the walls aren't very soundproof here, so you can avoid getting distracted by chit chat outside. So, yeah.
Cool, Mike. Let's talk about a big announcement for us, and probably people in the Niagara region. The rumors have started to come out a little bit, and I heard the rumor on the weekend, and someone asked me straight up, and I'm like, I don't know. And then they told me exactly what your plan was, and I look like an ass for trying to keep it quiet. What is the plan for next year?
The plan is to run 360 sprint cars at Ohsweken Speedway every Friday night and race some modifieds on Saturdays at Merrittville occasionally. We'll do Friday and Saturday, some weekends where there's, a special race to hit. But the nice part about that is, I don't feel like I race very well when I'm only getting in the seat around 20 times a year. I'd like to, I like to get in closer to 40 times a year. But when you got just a 360 at your disposal, it's tough to get in the seat, without driving all over the place. But it's tough to get in the seat more than 20, 30 times a year. Merrittville is very close to home here. We're familiar with it, and had an opportunity to buy Matt Williamson's big block car, and we're going to put a W16 in it and go try to win with a W16 at Merrittville.
So that sort of covers the why, but we don't see this happen very often, Mike. People jump from one discipline to another, and they either stay there or they go back, is it going to be hard to master driving two completely different types of race cars on the same weekend?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I've done it before. We've run crate and mod in the same night. It went really good in the crate sprint, but it didn't go so well in the mod. I ended up flipping the mod at Humberstone. But I did get the last laugh with that guardrail yesterday, pulling it out with a backhoe.
Well, there's so many things we got to talk about. Okay, so I know Fran's eager to talk about what's going on with Humberstone, and it's officially over. The guardrail's coming out, so we'll get back to
it's
that
out.
in a minute. Okay, let's talk about that first off. What's the deal there? How did you get involved in that? And it's officially the end, right?
Yeah, no, I mean it's officially the end there for sure. I mean, a lot of people are, were hanging on, maybe aren't so much anymore, but hanging on to this idea that it's, not going to be a quarry or it wasn't actually sold or whatever. But I mean, Rankin's at the helm of that deal and the lease is up and that's it. I mean, the amount of aggregate and stone in there far exceeds what you'd ever bring in running it as a speedway. So for those guys, it's just business, right? And Terry was in a bit of a jam. He had a guy that was supposed to lend him a loader, and the loader never showed. And my house is about 7 miles away, and I have a backhoe at the house. So I threw the dog in the backhoe yesterday at noon, and we drove over to the speedway and started giving him a hand cleaning up the garbage from the eve of destruction, loading mattresses, and I loaded a Sunray boat into a dumpster yesterday. We were just helping him clean some stuff up. Obviously, Terry does a lot for me, and has been probably the biggest push to get me in a sprint car in the first place. We went partners on that first crate sprint way back when, and then I ended up buying him out. But I don't even know if I'd be in a sprint car today if it wasn't for Terry. And I needed a hand yesterday, so we were glad to be there for him. And then I don't know, we struggled a little bit getting those guardrail posts out with the backhoe, and Al Wagner showed up with a forklift today, and man, did that thing ever work good.
It's amazing what a bunch of people with resources can do, and they show up with their equipment.
Yeah, right tool for the job.
Mike, let's talk about your 2024 season. It was going to be very difficult for you to come out and recreate what you had done
sport
the year before.
than other.
Whoa!
But
we'll get to that in a minute.
Clint, I want to know why Clint's got that grin on his face. Am I walking into a trap here, Clint?
No, not at all.
All right, Mike. Was 2024 humbling, or do you think? Well, I don't want to put any words in your mouth. What was it like?
I think it's like you said. It's going to be tough to repeat that kind of success in anything. I think part of the reason, I mean, we'll get to this, but we did continue to run two cars every night. And my crew chief, Liam, best crew chief I've ever had. And, he was just struggling to keep it all together every night, having to focus on two cars. And when there's only 4 classes, there's not much time in between. And he was just finding it more stressful than fun. So we decided to back off on the doing the double duty, so to speak, every night. But it was a letdown for sure, Adam. I think that the new Lefford tire threw us for a loop. We started to get that figured out towards the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, we were second. Here we are hanging our heads about second, and with a bunch of really well prepared race cars, good drivers, and teams in that pit. But coming off a year like that, I mean, what are you going to do?
I got so many ways I want to go with it, Mike. First off, Adam, can I have 2 questions here? Because the first one, Mike,
no,
you left Merrittville in protest over the Wagner. and now you're buying one to go back. Are you putting sail panels on that? Because you left as the champion totally against that package, and now you're going back to it. And I agree. At the time, it was controversial what Dom was trying to do, but I think we can all agree that he's been successful in building the modifieds back to where you want to get back in it now.
Yeah, I mean, I did leave. I was mad about the rules for sure. I had over a decade invested in Spechead 358 racing, and you got an ownership group who wants to take an engine and basically make it the most dominant option. I think the racers have spoken on that point. There's barely a spec head hanging on out there anymore. The cars are allowed to be 100 pounds lighter, so I don't know. That whole deal is in the past for me. It's close, like I say, it's close to home. I think my family came to Maryville to watch, and a lot of my friends and people I grew up racing with are there still every weekend. And after the races at Ashweekend, I mean, if I load up quick and get on the road, I'm lucky to be in bed by 2. Maryville can hang around, socialize a little bit, and see everybody. They open the gate in turn 1. The fans come over. I mean, it's just a part of the racing that I miss, and that part of it is has nothing to do with the rules at the racetrack. And it, like I said, there's a seat time factor to it, and it's a place that I get around really well. And this crate deal is a bit of a distraction for us, and I'm just gonna sell that car off, sell the trailer, and parlay that into this modified effort, and get my butt in a seat more often this year.
Go ahead, Adam.
The hell, you make a big deal of needing 2 questions, and then you just
said no.
Leave us both hanging. Yeah, that's true.
No, I got one.
That's true.
Mike, let's talk about Dylan Westbrook. You had to race the kid. He was one of the guys when, possibly, I don't know how to put it, but the pits weren't maybe as welcome as they should have been at one point. Dylan was the one guy who always came up, shook your hand. You guys built a bit of a relationship. You had to race him hard this year. What'd you make of that kid and what he's got going for himself?
I mean, he has always been good with me. When things got pretty thick there last year, I was painting people with brushes, and I would just walked out back of the tech barn. He was standing there by himself, or with somebody else, I can't remember. And I was just like, where are you at on this, man? Like, do I paint you with the same brushes as I paint Daryl with at the time? And he told me straight up, he's like, I don't think you're cheating. I think you just got it going on right now. And I had a lot of respect for that, because Dylan's very fast, very good race car driver. So for him to just sort of show that he doesn't give a shit about all this other buzz in the air, he's still focused on just the race, and whatever happens in tech is secondary to the guy he's got to focus on beating on the racetrack. And that's just stuck with me, that moment when I just straight up asked him, like, where are you at on this deal? And he leveled with me then, and we've been buddies ever since.
What do you expect will happen in 2025, Mike? Is somebody going to catch on again and be a dominant force? Do you think we're going to see a little bit of back and forth? Can you set out to have a goal like what you did in 2023, or is that not even realistic to expect?
That's always the goal. I mean, we show up to win every single week when we pull in that pit area. Of course, we're asking ourselves why, just like everybody else is asking, well, what's wrong with Bowman this year or whatever. So that is the goal for sure. Win every week, win the championship, win the nationals. I mean, that's what we're there to do. We just, in the off season here, got to focus on maybe some of the things that affected us or took anything away from us this year. Like I was saying, that left rear tire was a bit of a different thing to figure out. It's a non-cambered tire versus the cambered tire. There's some rumors that are coming down the pipe on maybe some more tire stuff, but yeah, I don't know what to expect for next year, but certainly we're showing up to win again. If we can beat Nick Sheridan, man, he was fast at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, since we're talking about competitors, you hired Nick for a while. The kid came up and lived in the shop for a little bit.
Yeah, he must have took notes.
He seems to have a bright future.
Definitely. Man, some like just the raw speed out of that kid some nights. Even when we went down to Fulton at the end of the year there, he was just ripping, unloaded and just ripped. And ended up staying to do the double duty the next day, which was cool. And yeah, but I got my eye on him.
I know.
Was that a question in there, Clinton? I'm trying to keep up with
when you have one. Go for it.
I don't remember you. I don't remember you doing that, Mike. Talk about growing up around Merrittville. In that region, what a hotbed for talented racers. You're of the same demographic as Stuart Freeze and Matt Williams and drivers that are dominating everywhere right now. What's the next generation going to do? Are you raising some racers or what?
Yeah, Blake started racing go-karts this year. Pretty casually. He had a choice of soccer or racing go-karts every Tuesday. Just basically ask him what he wants to do in the morning before he gets on the bus. And most weeks it was racing. Other weeks, if he wasn't feeling good or whatever, we didn't make it. But he won a couple, showed signs of real speed, and also showed some signs of maybe not having the fire. But we'll see next year. It's always fun to go racing and help develop the little kids, whether it's my son or anybody's kid. All the parents are kind of there in junior one just to get these guys around the track and learn to race properly.
Like, I think the other thing that a lot of people forget about you is, the business is centered in Niagara. You got a ton of customers who will stop by being back at Merivale. It's got to be better for business to have your car on the track out there contending for wins with, the Seaway, logos on the side and moving forward that way.
Yeah, that's part of it too. I do feel like we've lost a little bit of that. When you're at the parts counter and there's conversation pretty much every day about the races on the weekend and whatever, and just the people here aren't jumping in the truck and getting up to Ohsweken like they should, obviously, because it's a great spot. But it's just the reality of it. And yeah, I think we need to get a little bit more of a local presence here and just get back up there and try to put some wins up on the board.
I have no doubt whatsoever, Mike, that you're going to do that. I don't have a whole lot more to ask you, just that I'm glad to hear Friday nights at Ohsweken is still going to be part of your program because you're a huge asset there and a big piece of the competitive puzzle. More people need the opportunity to go out and compete against you and try to beat you. Because if you were to leave right now, there's a lot of people who would say, I never beat that Bowman guy. And that's no good. There has to be that. You have to be a stepping stone at times. So I'm glad you're still going to be there.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it.
No, I got a couple thoughts on that. My God, Adam and I both have seen you grow up in racing, and seen you as an adult go through this deal for the last 20 or so years. And I would like to see you have another good year at Ohsweken because I firmly believe that racing goes in ebb and flows. 1 week you're on, one you're on top, next year, next guy's on top. I think you got another good year coming, and I think that'll help you, feel a little bit better about your progress at Ohsweken over the years. And one other thing, we know you're friends with Matt Williamson, 15 points going behind Shepard into Charlotte. You're a guy who has a win at Charlotte. What do you think? Can Matty?
I don't have a win at Charlotte.
Oh, sorry. No, It, Matty,
A win on the tour.
I don't know what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Do you think Matt can get it done? Can he catch Shepard here this final week in these ones? And is the momentum on Matty's side right now?
I would say from a confidence standpoint and a preparation standpoint, I know how prepared those guys are rolling in there right now, and you'd be hard pressed to find another car rolling in there or cars rolling in there, because the Buzz Shoe team definitely some great guys over there, and car prep second to none. So I'm thinking we're gonna see an 88 championship in Charlotte.
I got one more thing for you, Mike, before you go. So this was Christopher Bell's wife and one of the other guys' fiance. I think it's Denny Hamlin's fiance or girlfriend. Talking about superstitions. Roll this, Spencer.
Dirt racing, I know, growing up was insanely more superstitious than I think NASCAR is. Like, some people are like, you don't carry 50s in your wallet. Yeah. So I know, like, when we were dirt racing, even I would sell T-shirts and merchandise. Christopher was like, "Don't let people pay in 50s." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna let them pay me however they want to pay for it." But there's no 50s, no peanuts, no green.
Yeah, you can't wear green. You can't
but
wear green. Still wear green.
I definitely still wear green. We got over that, and I was like, you know what, it's fine. But Christopher is very on schedule. He wakes up, he eats the same breakfast, and
that's good, Spencer. So, Mike, you're a no 50s. You're a no 50s guy too. Where does that come from? Like, what's up? If you make all the crew get rid of their 50s before they can come to the track, is that how it works?
We try. I mean, sometimes you end up with a straggler. But yeah, you know what? The deal with superstition and dirt racing is, especially when you're running heads up every week, is that damn pill draw. So if we're rolling up and we're unloading cars and we're going for time trials and we're having heads up heats and heads up feature, well, like, what do you need the superstition for? That's my point. There's still too much luck in dirt racing.
We'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike, for being with us. Good luck next season. I'm sure we'll talk to you a few more times before then.
Yep. See you, boys.
See you, Mike.
Well, it's good to have Mike back on Fridays. I was worried when we heard the rumor that he was getting rid of, not getting rid of that. I heard he bought a modified and was going back to Maryville, and so good to have him still hanging around Fridays. As you said, he's a good asset to what we've got going on. I'll just comment on a couple things before we jump into Josh Stade right now. Let Spencer get set up with Josh. Someone asked me what's up with Glenn Steyer's selling all the cars. I've been asked that for the third time today. Glenn is just updating the cars to, I think, the calls. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I think he's selling the WMIs and getting a couple other cars. And as far as the street stock, well, Stevie drove that. Stevie's no longer with the deal, so getting rid of that car too. So I don't think Glenn is leaving racing or slowing down by any chance. In fact, since I spoke to him Thursday in person, he probably bought 4 more race cars over the weekend, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate, but I'm sure there's one in there over the weekend. And if he doesn't show up,
he didn't buy one because he buys them in pairs.
I think, let me put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised. He's going down to the World Finals this weekend to run the 410 sprint car and the big block modified, I believe. And I wouldn't be surprised if between now and the weekend he buys a super late model and shows up in the third class down there. But let's jump into Josh Stade, who also had a travel weekend. Josh was in Nashville all weekend. Josh, welcome to the program. Thanks for the delay. We had power issues. We appreciate you hanging around, especially as we know you were still traveling up into like an hour ago or so. So awesome to be with us. Tell us about the weekend, and for maybe some of the dirt fans who are just tuning in now because we had Mike Bowman on, where were you this weekend? What was it about, and why was it special that you were in Nashville?
Yeah, so we traveled down to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the All-American 100 originally. The pro late model version of the All-American 400 weekend. It was kind of something that we, this summer as a team, when we were putting our schedule together, we're like, let's do some bucket list racing. Let's go to some of these places that we've never been and just make the memory. I mean, for me, last year we traveled down to the Snowball Derby, and we broke into the Speedway, and and walked around and looked at it, and I'm like, man, this place is badass. It's so cool. There's so much NASCAR history, the amount of people that have come out of there. Just looking at the list of drivers from years past, and I just said to the old man, I was like, you know what? They're building condominiums and soccer fields right around it, and I was like, I just want to say that we've been here once or twice, and can at least before they in the future, if they're going to bulldoze it down, we can say that we made it here and we were actually on the track. So for my team, that is kind of what started it. As some of the followers know, we raced it a month ago. We put the car together. It was kind of the same package as the regular night, regular points night stuff. And, the old man and the team said to us, if we're putting the car together for the All-American 100, why don't we go down and run the 100 lap regular night in October, about a month before, and get some data and whatnot. And I feel like that was really good for us. I'm really glad that we did that. So we've been there twice in just over a month or less than a month, and making some memories.
When you go down to a race like that, what do you set out to do? Aside from checking something off your bucket list, what goals do you go down there with?
Oh my God. I feel like goal number one is finish the race, because obviously it's new to you. For us, it's completely a different package. I had the motor. I got a 425 McGonigal motor in this car that I've had for over a year now. I haven't raced it. Completely different shock package, completely different transmission package, and we run with the APC stuff. So obviously just hoping your stuff stays together. As most people know, we're maintenance freaks. I mean, I don't like going to the racetrack if I'm not prepared. So obviously, the first time we went down, I was like, if we can finish every lap on the lead lap, I'm happy with that. We ended up finishing 7th out of a 24 car field. We were ecstatic. And I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of the Nashville regulars are like, this is your first time here and you finished the top 10. That's like, some of these guys are testing with data every week and have full-time guys working on the car and whatnot. So for you guys to come here for the first time and get a top 10, that's pretty impressive. So, that was a huge confidence booster for us. The only downfall to that was we had expectation this weekend going back down, because we're like, we finished top 10. Next time we go down, top 5 would be cool. And then you roll in the pits and there's 37 prolates there. You're like, oh man, like a top 15 would be great, So, yeah, the kind of the goal and the scope kind of changed as we went. You start looking at the entry list going into this weekend's program. It was there was a lot of cars, a lot of really good cars, a lot of money behind those cars. So yeah.
Adam. Josh, let's talk about what's next on your schedule. Where do you head from here?
So we're into our off season now. That's the last race of the year. So we got done this race, Saturday night. We're like, Saturday night's the end of the night, and all the Canadians are down there. We had Brandon Doherty, Spencer Lewis, Jordan House, Bakers were down there. A bunch of guys that we race against and promote and announce and whatnot at all the tracks that we race at, and they were at our pits, and they're like, man, you started 20th in a 35 car field. You finished 8th. Like, that's absolutely incredible. So we're sitting there, we're celebrating, we're having a beer, and one of the ASA guys comes up to us and goes, who makes the financial situation around here? I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like, who makes the calls? I'm like, well, either me or the old man. He says, well, who wants to start this thing tomorrow? I'm like a pro late with a super late? He's like, yeah, we want a 28, 29 car field, and we need 3 or 4 more guys that are wanting to go, and we just watch you race, and we were pretty impressed, and we don't think you're going to look at a line. Can you come down and make it happen? So I said, well, I'm going to leave it up to the team. He says, okay, I'll come see y'all in 10 minutes. So, okay. So 10 minutes later, we make the decision, why not? Let's start in park. So that was kind of sprung on us, spur of the moment.
You talked a little bit about it, the people that were down there that are part of the local racing scene. In fact, I was talking today to Blair Wickett in my travels. But how cool is it, Josh, to be the one who's actually got a fire suit on racing while so many people are just down there to take that show in?
It's cool. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, like, obviously you always have those people that are looking at you like, why are you doing that? Or what's he looking to get out of it? For us as a like family run and organized team, it was just going down with a great group of people and hopefully having a good run and making some memories. And that's exactly what we did. Knocked a lot of stuff off the bucket list. We went and ran our first All-American 100. We finished 8th. We got a top 10 out of it, out of like the biggest pro late model field I've ever been a part of. Usually up here, they only start 32 cars. They had 37 show up. A couple broke in practice, so they started 35. Finished 8th. I was part of the CRA Jag series for the first time, and then could obviously strike the ASA All-American, the 40th running of the All-American 400, and say that I was a part of that. And when they came to us, it was, all you have to do is start and park. It's going to pay $1,200. You can do as many as 10 laps at least, and if you want to do more. And after we got talking about it as a team, we said, why don't we do it? Why don't we offset some costs? We got all these old practice tires. We'll run till we feel like we can't run, and guys are going to fall out of the race, and maybe we can make some money and help offset some costs for coming down. And there's obviously you're outmotored, you're out carbureted. They didn't give us a weight break. They didn't really help us anything. We took the full pro late package and ran against the supers, and the goal was just to keep the nose clean and bring it home, and maybe attrition will help us have a decent payday and help offset some costs for traveling 14 and a half hours to go race and have some fun.
Right on. Josh, we appreciate you being here. What do you do in the off season? Just work with the business?
Well, yeah, like we're waiting for everyone's schedules to come out. But these things will get stripped right down. We'll go through rear ends, we'll go through transmissions, we'll go through shocks, motors, anything that we can do to help be more prepared for next year. And I do got to say, a bunch of the guys that we race against are like, we follow you guys with that APC series, and you guys have the best video coverage. I'm like, well, that's thanks to GeForce TV. They are the best of the best. And they're like, no, we watch you guys every week. And I'm like, well, we have the best video crew. And no offense, some of the Race in America stuff, they could learn a thing off GeForce TV. So I was pretty happy to see some of the Americans following us along. And obviously had a bunch of Nashville guys in the autograph session coming out. They're like, you're going to make this your regular track. I'm like, oh, it's a little far for a regular track next year, but hoping to get back there, make some memories with the team. Had 14 people treat it as a holiday and go down with us, and had a lot of fun, and definitely proud to bring the thing home in one piece and top 10 out of 35 cars. I mean, we're definitely happy.
Right on. Thanks, Josh.
I just got one more question for you, Josh. Give us one or two more bucket list races. What could you see yourself doing in the next couple of years that could rival racing at Nashville Fairgrounds?
I don't honestly know. Like we knocked 2 of them off this year with Riverside Speedway and Nashville. Those were 2 places that we really wanted to go. I don't know, Adam. I feel like they just kind of come to you as you're watching something. 5 Flags would be one that would be cool. I don't think it'll happen this year. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do Speed Weeks in New Smyrna. We've talked about possibly doing that in February. We're going to maybe hold back on that one. I don't know if we're just prepared enough to want to take our vacation time and spend a week at the racetrack slaving away at that. But yeah, I don't know what the future is going to hold. Bristol would be cool if they ever did another pro late model thing there. I felt like Sunday was a good opportunity for us marketing wise for people to understand who the 17 was. We had a lot of coverage with this car, a lot of people coming up saying it was, they had over 234 cars at the track this weekend. And I probably heard 20 times, this is the nicest car at the track. So that was a huge cap for image wraps of Craig Camrath, making this thing look beautiful. And I've got a guy that did a pencil drawing of this car in 3 days since we've been at the track, and it looks amazing. It's going to come out. But yeah, I don't know what the future holds, Adam. We're just going to pick, I hope 1 or 2 every summer and just do it as a family and with the team and have some fun.
That's awesome. And before we let you go, thank you for the kind words for GeForce, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, everyone knew that this thing was an Ontario thing. We had the Canada flag in the autograph session at the All-American 400. We're loud and proud, and definitely proud of being a part of the APC series and G-Force TV and representing Ontario.
Thanks, Josh. Have a great off season.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, wow, man, 2 great stories so far. It's good to see Josh moving his way around. Get all these other good spots, and yeah, what else could be on the bucket list? Let's get into Todd Lewis now. Keep going, Adam, while we bring Todd on.
No, I love what he's doing. You know, we heard Connor James say something similar earlier in the year. They want to knock off some bucket list races and do some traveling. And as much as, in Josh's case, he's still racing up here, so that's phenomenal. As much as you don't want to see drivers stray, it's so cool to see them go out there and experience something that most local racers don't get a chance to do. So that's very, very cool.
For sure. Let's bring in Todd Lewis, who's been patiently waiting by. Todd, we had some power issues at Spencer's place, so we're a bit behind, but we want to get the show on tonight. You know, we have a lot of people that watch us at lunch on Wednesdays, so if you're watching us at lunch tomorrow, thank you. I get a lot of comments about that. We're the lunchtime entertainment on Wednesdays. Todd, we brought you on because you're our resident big league racing aficionado, guru, knowledgeable guy, whatever we want to say. You know, we talked about Indy and NASCAR, but wow, what a finish at NASCAR Martinsville. You know, it's like we always say, being a promoter, when you make a rule, you got to enforce it. So I hate making new rules because then you got to enforce them. And man, they had to enforce one on Sunday with this whole Christopher Bell riding the wall and then William Byron in or out and then the blocking. Like, man, there is a lot of bullshit to unpack from Sunday. Where do we start?
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to the onion is maybe the way to look at it. And I don't know that you're whatever you do, you're going to satisfy everyone. So that's, I think, the first thing that you've got to put aside is we'll rule to the best of our ability and then see what happens. And then what you have to do afterwards is, okay, what did we miss? What didn't we anticipate that happened? And now let's find a way to address it and deal with it going forward. So, I mean, you can take the Sunday result at Martinsville going back to 2013 with Michael Waltrip's team and Clint Boyer spinning and all that, and then Jeff Gordon getting added to the playoff after, because that's where this all started with. It's everybody has to participate to the best of their ability. And after NASCAR looked at the video and the telemetry, which they sure have an awful lot more of now than they used to. It's almost hard to call this stock car racing anymore because of the sophistication and the electronics and all the data and information that they can gather from these cars. They determined that, well, how should we put this? There were shenanigans. There were things happening that shouldn't have been happening. And there's been a lot of people that are punished. And that's crew chiefs and spotters and executives from 3 teams who are all suspended for the final race at Phoenix. And there's a couple $100,000 in fines that have been doled out to 3 teams as well. So that's a significant penalty. Points were deducted from 3 teams. So they, I think, have everybody's attention in the garage, and rightfully so. Because frankly, if you're screwing around like that, you should be punished and you should get the book thrown at you. And I have no issues with that at all. It's unfortunate that we've heard way too much from Elton Sawyer this year in terms of cup racing and the rules that have been as they've been enforced and when they've been enforced and how they've been enforced. And it would be an awful lot nicer if everybody was talking about the championship going into Phoenix, but there's going to be at least as much talk about this officiating and the blocking rule and riding the wall. I don't think it was a full-on Chastain move from a couple of years ago, but I guess because Christopher Bell didn't let off the accelerator, they determined that he rode the wall and it was a safety hazard. And I'll cut NASCAR a lot of slack for erring on the side of safety, because that's first and foremost for everybody. But they threw the book at a lot of teams and a lot of people, and rightfully so for screwing around, quite frankly.
You know what's unfortunate in my mind about Christopher Bell? He's one of the only drivers on that track who on lap 500 actually drove with integrity.
Yes.
He drove the damn car hard and he made a pass. And then he screwed up. While everyone else was dicking around, half throttling, making sure the wrong car didn't pass the wrong car. I want to play devil's advocate, and I'll ask this to you, Todd, but Clinton, I want your opinion as well. What is the difference between what Ross Chastain and who was beside him? Austin Dillon?
Austin Dillon.
Yeah. What's the difference between what they did because they drive Chevrolets and what any of them do at Daytona or Talladega when they have manufacturers meetings the morning of the races to talk about how they are going to strategize that day to make sure they get the most out of their day and the competition, so if you're Chevrolet, Ford, Toyota, doesn't. What is the difference between what they did at Martinsville and what they do at the restrictor plate tracks?
I'll jump in first. I want to hear your thoughts too, Clint. But I'll say that you're right. At Daytona and Talladega, you'll see teams pit together, Chevrolet teams pit together, Toyota teams pit together, or whatever, and they do help each other in terms of the draft. It's out of necessity. It's and doing it that way. But when you get down to the last couple of laps at Daytona and Talladega, isn't it pretty much every person for themselves? It's not, okay, we're going to line up in this order so that this car wins specifically at those races. And that's what was trying to be orchestrated at Martinsville. I think it went a step beyond helping a teammate, so to speak, helping a manufacturer teammate.
Yeah, I don't think you're far off, Adam, with what you're saying, but I think those are two totally different animals. Being at Martinsville, we can all ride the brakes, go 3 wide, and prevent Todd from getting by us. Daytona, you're going to get run over. It's just nothing they've ever had to contend with, even though I don't think you're far off. The rules aren't, you're not that far off what we're doing. It's kind of the same thing, but one kind of necessitates the other. Adam, you wanted to talk about gambling and what this does. You got all of Vegas. We call Vegas is basically everybody who gambles, right? So you got everybody with money on the table on Sunday, waiting, biting their nails to try and find out who ends up where does this whole thing end up. Man, the ramifications of that have to have some people going crazy.
100%. And there's going to be, I don't know if because I didn't gamble on this race. I know very little about the online gambling or Vegas, however you want to put it. But I don't believe that the race results would have been certified as soon as the checkered flag flew. So nothing would have been paid out as of yet to winners. But how are they going to handle this moving forward? And what are the provisions in the agreement that you have, whether it's doing it online or whether doing it with a gaming entity directly? Is what are the rules in terms of if a penalty is applied, how does that impact what you've wagered and how that affects it? Because this is the Pandora's box that so many have talked about. When you open up to gambling and the money that goes with it, it's great. It can be a huge windfall of millions and millions of dollars, but you also have to have the integrity, is the other word that Adam used a little while ago. That's vital. And every sport has to deal with it in terms of how they approach it, and you have to have your results above board.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, was in this era, gambling is the cigarette sponsorship or the alcohol sponsorship of the 2020s. And it won't be here. There will come a point when it gets outlawed because it's bad for kids too, and then the next thing will come along. But without that, it's a vital part of a sports economy anymore. So the fact that integrity comes into question, I mean, that could really put a black mark on things. So there was now, and the main problem is that was the best Martinsville race I've seen in a long, long time. And we're not talking about Ryan Blaney driving his balls off to win that race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's giving himself a chance to go back to back in terms of championships, and everybody's talking about this as opposed to championship weekend coming up. They held a media day today for the championship weekend, and of course the penalties dropped afterwards. They didn't announce those until after the media day. But this is what everybody's going to be focused on for the next 24 hours. And I know that some of the teams are going to appeal these penalties. So now it's going to carry on and let the story live for another 24 hours or so until the expedited appeal is heard, and there's no way they're going to decide on that before end of business Wednesday, maybe into Thursday. And that's when you want all your focus to be on your championship and crowning a new winner for 2024. But it's this that's dragging all the attention away from that.
Todd, I want to play a video for you. Harvick has some thoughts on maybe where the system could go to even things out a little bit. I don't know if you've seen it, but run that video, Spencer, that we just talked about. Harvick talking about the weekend and his thoughts on maybe how we could smooth things out a bit.
Look, let's face it. This format is exciting. We do not have the best 4 cars in the championship 4. Now, we do have a regular season champ with Tyler Reddick. Mm-hmm. But he's not the regular season champ if Kyle Larson shows up to Charlotte. I got an idea. I think, what if we took the regular season champ and he got an automatic bid into the Final Four? We reward the regular season points champion
with a spot.
Because
of their body of work the whole time.
He's in the championship 4. Well, guess what? Second place, you're going to go to the championship 8.
You're going to go around to 8.
And your third place guy, he's going to go to the championship 12. Fourth, you're going to be in the 16, because then it at least gives you something in the regular season to not only race for first, but we're racing for first, second, third, and fourth. You got the championship points and an automatic berth into each round of the playoffs.
What do you think, Todd?
It's intriguing, and I'm glad that Kevin Harvick is coming up with suggestions like that. And this is what has to be done all the time. You should always be looking for ways to improve. It's easy to say, okay, you put the regular season champion into the Final Four. So does that mean the 10 races leading up to championship weekend don't matter for them? They can do anything. They could finish last in those 10 races. And that doesn't seem necessarily right either. So that's a bit of a thing. Now it's an intriguing way to reward the regular season. Right now, you get a trophy for winning the regular season. It doesn't guarantee you anything. So I like the idea. It's a good discussion point to start the conversation. I don't think it's fully baked yet, and I don't think Harvick has it fully baked yet. But it's an intriguing idea to reward the regular season, because I don't think there's enough emphasis put on the regular season, and eliminating a few drivers every couple of weeks I don't think is necessarily the best way to award the championship either.
I agree with most of what Todd said, but I like the idea. I like what NASCAR has done with the playoff format. I understand why they've done it. Really, they created something that's fairly cool. Is it a traditional championship? Absolutely not. It's kind of a tournament format thing, but I don't want to call it a gimmick, but it's kind of a gimmick, but it works. It achieves what they wanted to achieve. I love the thought of being able to.
Yeah, it's playoffs.
Right.
They want the elimination. The way it works in other more traditional sports is that if you don't achieve this, then you're eliminated from the playoffs. And it's whether you look at it as the NCAA basketball tournament or football playoffs or hockey playoffs or whatever. And that's how you create the drama, as opposed to the slower build of a 26 race regular season.
But I do like the thought of rewarding the regular season champion, Clint.
Yes.
That's kind of where I was going. We heard Mike Bowman say earlier, there's still too much luck in racing. And as a promoter, that's one thing I've heard the sprint car guys bitch about is you make us draw for position, then you make us redraw. My brother, who was a cranky bastard, he'd say, why don't you just start us where the hell you want? Because we're basically rolling the dice twice a night anyways. You guys pick it. You want entertainment? You start us where you feel we should start. And
excellence, excellence should be rewarded.
Now, I think back to, obviously on the short tracks that we're trying to do on the weekends, we have to provide some type of entertainment. The fastest car can't always start in the front. Our Thunderstock handicap is the best racing in Ontario because it's handicapped. But back to this plan that Harvick pitched. I like it, and here's why I like it. Okay, a lot of people will say Joey Logano shouldn't have even made it into the whole thing, and now he's contending for a championship. He lucked in by the skin of his balls and shouldn't have been in that. I think if you take the regular season champ and lay out like Harvick did, gets in. I do agree, Todd. Yeah, for those last 9 races, you can basically shit the bed, but you were great for 26. You were the champion at the end of 26, so let's put you in to that if that's exactly what the number ends up being. But the other point to it is I would even take it one further and give the traditionalists what they want and take the guy with the most overall points at before the very last race and put him in for a chance. Now the traditionalists get what they want. The guy who accumulated the most points all season long is in there, plus the guys. I think a bit of tweaking could be there. I do agree. People bitch about stage racing, but we're talking about it 3 times a race now. You know what I mean? So, no, I think it's interesting. And like we also say on our side, we have rules, but every year you have to tweak them one way or another because you're faced with another situation that you didn't think about when you wrote these down on paper. So
absolutely, and you should always be trying to improve the show. So I think it's a good starting point. You're right. If you put in the person who gets the most points through all the races, that's a good idea too. So okay, how can we incorporate that? You're never going to please 100% of the people, but you should always be trying to improve your rules, improve your show. You're in the entertainment business. You've got to find new ways to entertain people all the time. I think it's worth discussing.
Right on.
That was a good conversation.
It was very civilized, and we expressed opinions and listened to others. And I think if given a few more minutes and the actual authority, we could come up with some good solutions.
We can fix this thing. We're on the right track.
There you go.
You're so rude to me every week, Adam, that Todd came on here expecting us to be rude to him, and he was all ready to fight, and we're all nice to him.
No, you guys are never rude to me. You guys are never rude to me. It's okay to have passionate discussions. Nothing wrong with that. I respect your opinion.
Thanks, Todd, for joining us. Maybe we'll get you back next week to talk about the finish of the final here and see how that all shakes out. What a weekend it's going to be in Phoenix. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
See you, Todd.
Lewis, we get the pleasure to work alongside TSN all season long with the Fuel Media crew covering the NASCAR Canada Series, and we'll get back to Todd on that in a couple months. Probably we'll start talking about that again, if not sooner. It's been a trying day, Adam. Spencer lost his power. I only ate once today. Pets' heads are falling off. Well, what else we got? Let's jump into Burger Barn videos of the week. Anything else you want to talk about before we have some fun?
Yeah, I still want to know if I had asked the last question or if you had asked the last question of Josh Stade, and we had the most awkward silence in the history of our show.
Our timing's just off. It happens sometimes,
So to explain, because people might wonder, we have the most awkward delay. This show comes together great because Spencer is the master of making things happen. But there is an unnatural delay. What would you say it is, Clinton? Maybe a second and a half?
I'd say I was going to say 3/4 second. Spencer said quarter to a half. It is just enough that when we talk in our normal cadence face-to-face or on the air at weekend with 0 delay, this quarter-second delay just kicks us in the ass constantly every week, and we end up stumbling over each other and laughing about it. So, and then other times we'll both just motor through, and now we're talking over each other. Right. So, you can't win.
So that's why we have not been drinking. Just so you know, if you tune in Tuesday, it's like, what the hell is wrong with these idiots? It's that little delay that throws the entire wrench in. And then if Spencer leaves his microphone queued, you get everything on about a full second delay playing back in your ear. So it's tough.
It is. Well, I think we got to have some fun. Burger Barn videos of the week. Got to thank Jay Hill for everything They do Petro Plus, Travel Stop, Burger Barn. As we tell you every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, great day to go to the Burger Barn. You're never disappointed with the portion sizes. It's been on TV. It's world famous. You got to check out the Burger Barn if you're ever out near Ohsweken, Caledonia, and the Six Nations area. Check it out. Let's jump into our Burger Barn videos of the week. I have no idea. I feel like I've been pounding Spencer with videos all weekend. There could be 2 in there. There could be 30. I don't know. Let's see what we got.
Hey, well, Willie, hey, that's not how I wanted it to go, but I know. Congratulations.
Okay, so y'all get mixed in. Stop that, Spencer. I just thought this was cool that Christopher Bell, after his most disappointing moment, had the class enough to go down and shake William Byron's hand and say, hey, man, ain't how I wanted it to go, but congratulations and good luck. I thought that was kind of neat.
I felt very bad for both of them, especially Christopher Bell, because he didn't have his Jeff Gordon standing beside him. Like, he had nothing. He just had to stand there with it, like deer in the headlights look for 10 minutes that felt like 5 hours.
For sure. This next video, it's a video of a couple of asphalt guys getting into it, and crews are getting into in the pits. But listen to the comment the guy says, and this is the most fitting, and this is why I shared it. The comment of the guys who are filming.
Just exchanging birthday cards.
Look, the people hollering ain't even the ones that show up at the shop and work on the car.
Oh, I know. That's fine.
Right, Adam? How many times? This is what you bitch about. It's never even the guys who are involved. Now, I love that comment. The guys screaming are the ones who don't even show up at the shop. Like, just outsiders looking for bullshit. I thought it was fitting. What else we got?
Did you happen to see the end of the truck race where Taylor Gray, I think it was Taylor Tanner, I can't keep them straight, marched
Spencer,
all the way down?
I think I sent it. I don't know if we're going to see it or not. Go ahead, Adam. Marched all the way down.
Security was hand in hand with him, and I give them huge credit. They didn't stop him. They stopped the crew of the race winner, Christian Eckes, said, let him say his piece. Like, they actually blocked the crew from getting involved with the driver discussion and kept control of the situation. And I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, but, okay, 2 situations happened after the truck race and then the Xfinity race, and I don't know if we've got them both. He walked for miles at the end of that race to give him a piece of his mind, and it was the biggest sissy move ever. He didn't swing. He didn't bark. We watched all those steps for that, bro. Come on. Grow a set. You walked all that way to tell him you were unhappy? Bullshit. Give me a break. Grow a pair. Take a shot. Do something. I was unimpressed. And then the other one was the Xfinity race where the kid took a swing, and it was the biggest bitch slap ever. Oh, here it is. And watch Cole Custer at the end. He's laughing. Not yet. Cole Custer's crew come in to rescue him. And look, he's pissing his pants laughing at it. At the slap. He's like, what a shot. But man, that's just, same thing. If you're gonna take it, you gotta take it. You
miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, and now Aaron Dennings, can we have this attitude? I'm bad, because no, you can't do that at Fridays, but you can do it at NASCAR. There's penalties. Sometimes you got to take the penalty. What else we got, Spencer? Oh, yeah. What's your retirement plan, Adam? This is going to be us.
I'm in.
I can't even tell anymore. Is this real? Is this AI? Is this Weaver Valley?
That's AI. It's 100% AI.
Yeah, there'd be too many broken hips to make that a reality. What else we got, Spencer? Keep them coming. Oh, NASCAR teams dressed up as Power Rangers. There were a few of these. All right. That's good enough. The other one, I think they come out as dinosaurs. It must be the Joe Gibbs team or the 2311 team practicing, I think. All in dinosaur outfits. Now, I'd be impressed if they did this like this weekend at Phoenix. They're tired. They're tired. All right, that's enough. That's enough. What else we got? Play the Victory Lane one first. Okay, so this is our last video. So this is a kid, Adam, who recites the lines from Talladega Nights. So he's rehearsed it. He's practiced it. I don't know. I don't think I love it. But let's watch it.
Hey, how was your run out there? I mean, you dominated this one.
Well, here's the deal. I'm just the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. I'm just a small, non-hairy Texan winning machine. I mean, nobody can hang with our stuff. We got driven metric cycles, 2 scoops ice cream, Moyer's Lakeside Eatery, Joe Cross Designs, Tri-Painter, and everybody else who helps me get here.
I don't know. It just feels rehearsed. It's a little too practiced for my liking.
It is obviously rehearsed. I was actually watching the announcer to see what kind of reaction he might have to it, but even he didn't seem that affected by the whole deal.
I think the problem I have with it is maybe that if you don't know it's from Talladega Nights, you think, what a little shit this kid is. Who's this cocky little bastard think he is up there? But if you know the movie, you're laughing on the inside, going, well, that's a classic thing there. Spencer, we don't have the video of the little girl between the 2 micro sprints. I thought I sent that one too. Maybe not. Don't sweat it if you don't. I just thought it was cool, and we'll talk to it if we can find it. It's a video of a young girl doing a quick video for her sponsors beside her 2 rides, telling how her season went. I just thought it was cute, classic, and more things need to be like that. Where do we go from here, Adam? Next week, Tuesday, back at it.
Yeah. One of these weeks, we're going to have the Draper brothers on. We've been making those arrangements. So that'll be a fun conversation. A couple of drivers from Eastern Ontario. And thanks for the viewer suggestion on having them on and having some conversation. And we'll see where the offseason.
Matt Weaver is a big-time NASCAR writer. He's been on the show a few times. He's so freaking busy lately, but Matt will join us soon to discuss that. Yeah, Weekend Banquet is 2 weeks from this Friday. If you haven't got your tickets already, you better beg and plead with Tina Stiers to get your tickets because the deadline was today. So if you're real nice to her up until noon tomorrow, you might be able to squeeze something on there. If you've reserved tickets and haven't picked them up, because I know there's a few out there, I'm not going to name names, who bought 3 tables and didn't pick them up yet, make sure you take care of that. You don't want to lose those 30 seats. Other than that, Adam, I think it's been a good week. There's lots of stuff going on. People ask me what I do, man. I've been busier than ever. Racetrack bullshit is what I say every day, but lots of big things that hopefully we can talk about in the coming weeks as we continue to build towards 2025 already. It's crazy. I got the Weekend schedule probably a quarter done already, which is pretty awesome that we're that far ahead. It seems like every year we get farther.
I mean, it's a quarter done. It's a quarter done before the season ends.
Yeah,
you got your flagship events.
I call them the
Step
posts.
it up a little bit.
Can you be on my team once, asshole? Help me out. Make it look like I'm doing stuff in the off season.
When we're off the air, I am 100% Team Clinton. When we're on the air, screw yourself.
That is the screwed up part because you're right. Off the air, we are good for each other, but on the air, I hate you some days. But that's okay. Let's get out of here. I got chicken wings waiting. Spencer, thank you for all you do. Thanks for not panicking. Thanks for getting us on the air even though we were late. Thanks for everything. Yeah, it's almost time for the Double Down, where we're going to have a good fight and some good slobber knockers to lead us into the fall, into the month of Christmas. You guys pick good.
Congratulations.
Good topic.
IMC the Vintage Modified Banquet on the weekend. Congratulations to their champion, Ricky Williger. But even more so, congratulations to the new inductees to the Hobby Hall of Fame, John Van Weingarten, John Carley, and Ed Lipsky. It was really, really cool. That is a Hall of Fame with some serious history behind it. So definitely something fantastic.
Yeah, that class has been around a long time, man. That's I guess I don't want to insult it, but that's like the cockroach of Ontario, man. Nobody's been able to kill that series. It's just been alive for decades and decades and decades. even through the lean
And
years,
there's
guys
some-
like in the most recent lean years that I'm aware of, because obviously it goes back way longer than me. But like guys like John Carley stepping up and fighting it through COVID and keeping the thing strong when it could have easily faltered, you know. So you need champions like that pushing the deal forward. So that was cool.
Yes, agreed.
Let's get
That's all
out
I
of
got.
here. Thanks everybody for watching. I want to thank Mike Bowman, Josh Stade, and Todd Lewis for joining us, albeit later than we scheduled them. We appreciate their time. We know it's valuable. And always appreciate all you great people hang out with us on Tuesdays. It's a great family. It's great to see everybody here. We appreciate your input. Thanks, Spencer. Thanks, Adam. See you guys next week.